So the guidelines, you're going to read one article a day. A lot of them actually have audio, so you can play them and it'll read it to you. You're going to complete one book of knowledge entry between 50 and 100 words, all in your own words, no copy and paste. And some days we're going to start our live classes with one class member's book of knowledge entry, and we'll edit it together, or we'll look at it and see what's good about it and what we can improve. So let's take a minute and I'll show you what this looks like in ReadWorks. So if you don't have ReadWorks open, go ahead and get that open now. In your ReadWorks class, you should now, if you log into your screen, under Assignments to Do, you should see profiles of people with different careers. It says article a day set. It says it's due September 6th. That is the last day of this set for this unit. So if you open it up, you have a whole bunch of different articles. Now you notice it tells you how many words. Don't just choose by how many words it has. I know some of you are going to see, oh, this one only has 645 words. I'm going to read that first. The truth is you're going to read most of these over the time. So you need to just choose ones that appeal to you, or just go in order, whatever makes sense. Now you might see some say challenge article. That means that they're a little bit more difficult, meaning the reading level is a little bit higher. That's okay. Some of you need a bit of a challenge. And then a boost article is one that is a little bit lower. So you can see those are the shorter ones, and they're ones that are written at a slightly lower level. So if you feel like I've read some of these and they were really tough, maybe go for the boost articles first. So I'm going to choose Portrait of a Journalist. Now I get into the passage and you can see it always starts with a picture. It's always a good idea when you're reading an article like this to start with the pictures and then see if there's any annotations. There's no caption there, so there's not any extra information about that. Then you can see up here there's an audio track. So you can hit play and it'll actually read the article to you. You can also adjust up here what the text looks like. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the paragraphing. This is kind of a cool feature too. If you struggle to keep your place, this actually creates a little line bar that lets you scroll line by line. Now, I'm dyslexic, and that means that sometimes I have trouble and I get lost in paragraphs that are really long. So this would really help me as I read to stay focused on the line that I'm on. You can get rid of it just by clicking off of it again. So you're going to read through. You notice some of them have hyperlinks. If you click on those hyperlinks, it'll tell you the word. You can hear it out loud. It'll give you a definition as well as a translation and an example sentence. Use that. If there's a word in here that's hyperlinked that you don't know, click on it. Okay, when you've read the whole thing, you get to the end, you can click here for the book of knowledge, or you can click this button up here. So let's look at a sample book of knowledge that I wrote. Now, I read an article on Live Science about how turtles breathe. So this is the book of knowledge that I wrote. The article I read today is about how turtles breathe. I learned that they can store oxygen so they can stay underwater for longer, but they can also use the oxygen from the water around them. And like Olaf says in Frozen 2, turtles really do breathe through their butts. It's called cloacal respiration, and it happens because that area has the most blood vessels in their bodies. I'm glad humans don't breathe through their butts. So there's a sample entry. It's 77 words. The first sentence is summary, and it gives context. Now, I'm going to be the one reading these, but I don't see the article that's attached to each book of knowledge. So you have to give me a one sentence about what the article was about. Often that can be just a restating of the title of the article, but don't just quote the title. Give me, I read about how, whatever the topic is. The second sentence is what you learned from the article. Now this is the meat of the paragraph. So this needs to be a complete idea in your own words. I do not want quoting or copy and pasting from the article. Again, that doesn't build retention. It doesn't help you understand it. It just shows me that you know how to copy and paste. So to be really clear, copy and paste will not get you credit for this assignment. So this again is what you learned in the article. So I picked up a couple of details specifically that I mentioned about how turtles breathe. Again, tying back to that, what is the article about? The third part is a connection. Now, I made a connection to a movie that I've seen 100 times because I have a 2-year-old, Frozen 2, where he says turtles breathe through their butts. And I wanted to know a little bit more, so this article was about it. I connected that. Again, what I'm doing is I'm taking what I really know in real life and pulling it into what I'm reading about. Now, this part can be a connection to an article, a book, a movie, TV show, or another idea, or anything else you've read or heard about. It can also just be one more interesting idea if you can't think of a way to connect it to something else. It can be a connection to your own life too. You can tell a short story here if you want. And then the third part, or the fourth part, sorry, is a one-sentence opinion statement. Now, this just, again, gives you a little bit of how I feel about what I'm reading. So I'm glad humans don't breathe through their butts. That sounds pretty terrible. That is an opinion statement, meaning that it's not a fact. It's just something that I think. It's optional to end with an opinion, but it's a good way to show that you connected to the text. So those 4 pieces, a one-sentence summary to give context, the meat of the paragraph where you say what you learned or what you found in the passage that was interesting to you, make a connection with it in a third part, and then give an opinion at the end. That got me 77 words. You're looking for between 50 and 100, so it's right in that kind of sweet spot. And again, that is all in my own words, no copy and paste, because copy and paste will not get you credit. Now again, you're not copying and pasting. Remember, you're doing the paragraph with those 4 parts that we just talked about into this box here, and you're going to hit submit. So I'm just going to type a sample right here, and I'm going to hit submit. Okay, submit. Now when I go back to assignments, I can go to progress, and it'll show me my entry right here. Okay. Now let me show you what I can see from my teacher side. Okay, so here you can see I've read 1 article, this many words, and that's how many words I've written. So you can see exactly how much, and I can see which ones you've done. I can click through and see which articles you've given an entry on. So I can see there 1 entry, and you can see exactly what I've written. Now, again, this is how I'm going to check you each day, and I do expect that you have that full paragraph we talked about.